solutions to the obstacles and challenges that women face every day. And like I always say, those challenges are not just political, they're not just economic, they're not just social, they can be medical. They're also medical. Even something as commonplace as pregnancy, it can bring up lots of medical risks for women. Last week, we talked about preeclampsia and eclampsia, and that opened up quite the Pandora's box about pregnancy. And that's why today we're widening our scope to discuss more of the challenges during those 9 months, what to expect, how to handle it all. My guest from last week is back. She's the practice manager at One Wellness Center, Dr. Chibuki Ayigbe. Welcome back.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi.
Lagos.
Lagos, we're streaming live. Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. We are also on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. Now, I know you have questions, so let's hear those questions. What do you want to know about pregnancy? And this is not a conversation for just women. It's a conversation for men as well. I'm sure you have questions about, when if your wife is expecting at the moment, you probably have questions. If you're planning to start having babies, you probably have questions. If you've already had babies, and there were things that happened that you couldn't quite understand, you probably have some questions that you would like someone to answer for you. Go ahead and give us a call and ask those questions, right? What do you want to know about pregnancy, about what to expect when you're expecting? You can still talk about preeclampsia, by the way, and eclampsia itself. Our numbers are the same: 0700-993-993, 01465-7190. Doctor, let's start with the end.
Okay.
Maternal mortality.
Okay.
Let's start with that.
Okay.
Because we keep hearing that Nigeria has one of the highest rates globally. What are the big contributors to maternal mortality in Nigeria?
So I don't know what the figures are as of today, right? I don't know what our mortality rate is, but to be honest, I don't think it's as high as the Oyibo media wants us to see it. It is high, to be honest, but we see that the most common culprit is what we call postpartum bleeding. Okay, so you see women who are bleeding just immediately. They have their uterus is not able to contract to stop the bleeding, right? Even after several injections are being given. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So to help, as much as I try to break it down.
Yes,
so
and we love that. That's why we love you on the show.
So despite all the efforts to try to stop the bleeding post-pregnancy, we see that is what is the commonest cause of death in Nigeria.
Right.
And like I had mentioned, poorly managed pregnancy, with which things like preeclampsia and eclampsia can result from, can cause death. So there's I think the funny thing, when I was downstairs, I'm like, okay, what am I here for? Sandra says pregnancy. Okay, where do I start from? Okay, do I do common myths? Okay, I said I'll do common myths. So while you were here, I just said that when I asked for the pen, I said let me do complications. So this really fits into the maternal mortality, right?
Yeah.
So if we have poorly controlled diabetes and hypertension, poorly controlled hypertension in pregnancy, or even pregnancy induced. So whichever one, it can be pregnancy induced diabetes or diabetes in pregnancy. I try to differentiate the two. So for those of us in Lagos who couldn't join us last week, so the difference is there are some people who are already diabetic before they got pregnant. So they will be diabetic in pregnancy, but then you can also have pregnancy induced diabetes, for example. So that's the difference. And then if you deliver, you might recover to your pre-pregnancy sugar levels. Exactly. Some other times as a complication, the diabetes may linger on. Yes. So that happens a lot. Those very commonly. And abruptio placenta, we had talked about that some months ago.
But remind us what that is.
Yeah, so where the placenta is forcefully is detached from the innermost part of the uterus, the lining of the uterus. So remember that the placenta is the powerhouse, is what feeds the baby with oxygen, nutrients, blood, and all of that. That's what helps develops the baby. Is the baby's power line. So if there's a detachment of that placenta from the inner lining of the uterus, that inner lining will be sore. Just imagine something has been growing and then you pull it out. That place is like a wound.
Yeah.
So it doesn't heal well.
Yeah.
So at that time, what happens is an emergency. It's a clinical emergency. So if a woman is pregnant and she starts spotting and it's bright red. So bright red blood means fresh blood. Dark
red means it's been
there for a while and it has oxidized. Exactly. So bright red means that something has detached and you need to go in, bring out the baby, cesarean delivery, and then suture that place where the placenta detached from. So that happens. That could lead to
mortality.
Mortality. Very commonly. I mean, I'm just picking off the common things.
No, of course, mortality, Lagos, is somebody dying, in this context, within this context, that's what that means. Yeah.
Yes. And then very rarely, doesn't kill, but if there's prolonged labor. So prolonged labor happens where people, especially in this part of the world where we're very religious, we're saying, God forbid, we're not going to have a cesarean section, or they said I would deliver like a Hebrew woman, and you're there
I'm going to stay on that for a bit, but finish your thoughts.
And then you see a woman in excruciating pain,
right?
For 2 days, 3 days. Sometimes it doesn't have to be 2 days, 3 days, to be honest. It can be 1 day. So labor is divided into 3 stages. So that's second stage, which is the most.
So pretend you're talking to single women who have no idea what labor is. Okay. What are those 3 stages?
First and foremost, labor is the process to which you expel fetus, whether live or not. Now, it can be induced. It can be spontaneous. Okay, so induction means that you give a medication to make that baby
want to come out.
Yes, or it can happen just by itself. For a lot of women, they're very lucky; they fall into spontaneous labor. I, for one, I've had 3 pregnancies. I never fell into labor. So there are 3 stages. The first stage is the cervical ripening or opening or dilatation from 0 to 3 cm. So the cervix, like I'd mentioned. Where's the camera this time? Here?
Yeah, that's the camera. Lagos, if you're watching her, she's showing you what it should look like on camera.
So the cervix is it's like the under of an apple.
Okay, that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, it's like so it's tight.
Yes.
Okay, but you can see it's fufu. It's
yeah,
it's round and So over time during labor, the first stage you're trying to expand. Okay, 0 to 3 or 0 to 4 cm. Please forgive me.
It's okay.
And then that's the first stage. So that first stage normally goes very unnoticeable. Okay, you're moving up and down. You don't know that your cervix is opening.
It's widening, right?
Yes, but it's characterized by, imagine if it's closed. There's mucus over 9 months. There's mucus that has built up there. So there's it's called a mucus plug.
Okay.
So imagine once this opens to like there's 0 to 1 cm, 2 cm. What happens that it drops?
Oh, so that's
people say
that's
show.
Oh, I see.
Have you seen your show?
Your show?
Yes,
that's what
show.
Okay.
Show, maybe because it's show time. It's about down.
It's about to go down.
So it comes with like mucus and a lot of things. To be honest, I never got to the stage. So second stage happens when, it's from then to 10 cm. So that's where you have active uterine contractions trying to expel the fetus. And in the first stage, many a times between the first and second stage, you have people having their water breaking. So that doesn't also happen dramatically like the movie, like the movies portray. You can just have trickles.
Yeah, sometimes just
a
fluid,
leak. Yeah, just a leak. It might not be continuous. It might just be small hair.
Yeah.
So so that's the first stage. Second stage is from that 4 cm to 10 cm. Okay, characterized by lots of intense pain. like menstrual pain, but maybe just the senior sister of menstrual pain.
the elder sister, the firstborn.
That's Ada. That's strong Ada. So it's it comes with lots of contractions, back pain, nausea for some people, and then the third. So at the end of in a normal pregnancy, normal labor, at the end of that second stage, you should deliver a live fetus.
Right.
Now, once that is done, you now deliver the placenta. That's the third stage of the process, and then you're done.
Right.
Now there are different things that can happen all through the 3 stages. So we always say that you should have all things being equal, you should have your labor, your delivery where you register for antenatal, because they already have your history. You know what to expect. They know what to preempt and those kinds of things.
That's a beautiful way to just like go through the journey. To be honest with you. Now let's come back to that Hebrew woman versus non-Hebrew woman. Why do people here have such a what's the word I'm looking for now? That is nice.
Aversion.
Aversion. Yes, thank you. Why do they have such an aversion for any way where the baby come out now way? Why does it matter how the baby comes out instead of the baby came out?
I was having this conversation with my friend like 2 hours ago, and it came from our parents. I wasn't alive before my parents, so I don't know. But I see that our parents' generation, they're very secretive.
Okay.
Very, very perfect generation.
Oh, yes.
You get what I mean? So, and that's why they're secretive, because they want to seem perfect. They want to seem, oh, all my kids are doing well. And their own version of doing well is that you went to school, you graduated, you have a white collar job, those kind of things. But we are very open. We're like, oh, I had a breast reduction, I had a boob increment. We're more open to those kinds of things.
We're sharing everything.
We're sharing and
sharing
there's now
too much stuff.
We're in social media now where we want to share together. You know, so it's a little. So I think those things are reducing.
Okay. Do you think so?
I think so.
Is it reducing among us? What I mean by us is, educated,
the learned people,
a bit exposed. Because I still get a lot of messages. I will get emails, from someone's sister.
Pray for me that I don't have this CS.
Yeah, and someone's sister sent me an email 2 weeks ago, I think. And she was saying to me, Sandra, how do I reach my brother-in-law to allow my sister give birth through CS?
Wow.
That they are in the hospital, the thing has been delaying for so long. The man says over his dead body that he's not going to pay for CS, that his wife must deliver like other strong women. She's a Hebrew woman, she must do it.
Thing, as a woman,
and she died, by the way.
Exactly. So that's what I even tell. I'm sorry that I might sound a little insensitive, but for patients like I just thought, okay, so you want the person to die? I just ask you, because I'm confident she's going to die, because there's no reason why we're just supposed to go in there and bring out the baby, and it's the cultural thing, because in the West they will rather have cesarean sections, they rather have painless labors, but we want to do the strong thing. It's us that like bitter suffer head. It's the bitter thing that is good. It's the painful one that is good. That kind of thing. It's a cultural thing for us. I also think that if you do a lot of education before that D-Day, it would help. It
could help.
Yes. So if you
Who should you be educating?
So the doctor and the patients, the doctor should be educating the patients, both husband and wife. Okay, so we encourage that couples go for antenatal. The husband might not be available every time, but as much as possible, go for antenatal classes so that they can ask questions and dispel those myths. Because you would not say, to be honest, you would not say that the husband hated his wife, but he actually thought it was the better way. No, seriously, Sandra.
How are you? I mean, how do you know it's the better way? You don't have medical
knowledge, right?
You don't have a medical
license.
That's
what his mother told him.
So are women the problem? Older women, or the women
please, so that when they go outside they'll not beat me. I don't know.
And sorry to all the older women listening to us right now. Are older women the problem? Because if older women were to be able to say to the younger women around them, their daughters-in-law, look, my darling, however you bring the baby home, just bring the baby home. What would we be here?
Do you know what pisses me off about this thing? I've done both. I've had both a vaginal delivery and I've had a cesarean section. None is easy.
None is easy, yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Both are painful.
They're both painful. Recovery for one is even like longer. Yeah.
Recovery from the cesarean section is really longer. And I remember the last cesarean section that I had, I was hot, sweating, and the AC was on full blast. I was right under. That's how much pain I was in.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was not able to they were not able to grab the pain management well, because it shouldn't have been like that. But that was my experience. That last cesarean section, and it was one of the best hospitals in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So I think older women can do better. We should do better for our children, even not just pregnancy, but the mode of conception is also another thing we need to deal with. I remember when we launched the clinic, we had to be talking about why are people so hush about assisted reproduction and all of that. Why, but so that religious thing, because we're very religious, because they wrote Hebrew, deliver like a Hebrew. I don't know who was there. They knew that it was vaginal birth.
But that's the thing. People don't read that passage for themselves, because if you actually read the passage, you know that they lied. so that they will get away with not having the midwives that
Okay.
Herod sent, or was
Okay,
it Pharaoh sent, right? They went back and lied that, oh, they couldn't go and kill the babies because by the time they got
They
there,
had already
they had already given
delivered.
birth. You know, oh, these Hebrew women, we don't used to know when they used to deliver. Once you get there, before you get there, they don't already born. You know, if people actually read that passage, they would see that that passage has nothing to do with...
And it was even like an exaggeration.
Yes.
Trying to say that it don't come out from my hand.
And don't kill the baby again.
Exactly. It wasn't so
It's
much
essentially lying to your boss.
Yes.
Oh, I couldn't come to work because our mom always stopped on the road. That's essentially what happened in that passage. And people have just run with it. And we have this thing taking so many lives. Like, I remember this listener reached out to me. I spoke to the husband on the phone. I said, give me this man's phone. Because I was like, okay, she was like, oh, this guy listens to you. He listens to the show. He respects you. Just try and talk to him. I spoke to this man. My husband spoke to this man. And still, he said, no, President Sandra, I know you are trying to do good.
What were his reasons?
Very
what are his
educated.
fears?
He said, simple. I want my wife to deliver like a Hebrew woman. That's it.
And his wife died.
I didn't even know what to say to the guy. Like, eventually when the sister, when
I did not say anything, no. Yeah.
Eventually, when the sister reached out to me,
Very sad.
I was quite sad, and I messaged her and I said, well, yeah, this is what happens. And this is why doctors tell you, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because doctors have looked at you.
So the thing is, let me just quickly talk about why the reasons, the indications for cesarean section, in case somebody's listening and they're wondering, maybe I should let me deliver like a Hebrew woman. Now, like I mentioned last week, if your blood pressure is off the roof, if you have preeclampsia, the only way to come back to quote unquote normal is delivery. And labor in itself is strenuous on the body,
on your blood pressure, on everything.
So we don't want to put your body through that stress. We want to be able to put your body through another type of stress, but more controlled stress, because cesarean is controlled. They're controlling your pain, they're controlling this, controlling how long you're going to go in and out, those kinds of things. So you'll be asked to do a cesarean section. If your baby is also very big,
you're small like me.
So that's a different thing, because you can be normal, but your baby size is big.
No, I'm talking about women like me who are small.
Okay,
us smallies.
So there's something called cephalopelvic disproportion.
So poor.
Really? So when the baby's head, no matter how big the mother's hips is, but the baby's head must be able to go through the mother's hips.
Right.
So if it's disproportionate, where the hip is smaller than the head, whether you kabasho from now till next year,
it cannot
pass. Especially because during labor, if you look at our head from here to here, I'm sorry,
I'm looking at your head.
From here to here, right, it's different in circumference,
right.
So from here to here.
Right.
So this is longer.
And then you now have ogotu.
Exactly. So there are different angles. And going through the birth canal, the head passes through different stages. So there's a part that the head is facing like this. There's a part that the head is facing like this. Just to navigate through that canal.
Yeah.
So
and if the canal one will big.
Exactly. And if the doctor says, like plumbers will say, it cannot true. It cannot true. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's no magic. So if that disproportion exists, you must have to just go in and bring out the baby.
Yeah. You
would kill the child and the mother if you insist that the mother goes through that labor.
Right. Lagos, join the conversation. 0700-993-993-993 01465-7190. What questions do you have for Dr. Chibuki Aigbe? She's here. She is the practice manager at One Wellness Center. And she's talking to us today about what you should expect when you are expecting. 99.3, hello. Sorry about that. Call me back if you can. 99.3, hello.
Hello, Sandra.
Thanks for calling, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Yeah, this is Bola calling from Ojo.
Welcome, Bola. Talk to me.
Yes, thanks for this particular program. I've been having this conversation with people around me.
Okay.
And due to my observation concerning pregnancy and delivery disease.
Right.
I think one of the causes of this pregnancy, wear out and delivery complications. It's like, I think what we are eating these days is already like destabilizing our system already. Because when you see with women carrying baby these days, the young ones carrying baby these days, before the delivery already, their body is wear out. They are already weak when you see them. Unlike when those days, you don't even know when they give birth. Even you yourself, you don't even know when the baby come out. They just enter inside the room and the baby come out. Before you take them to the hospital, they already give birth. But these days, it's like what we are eating these days is not really is weakening our body already. So that is what I see about this thing, that is bringing more complication, that people cannot even push anymore. Before the delivery, they are weak already, they can't push anymore. Unlike those days, even in the villages till today, they are still finding delivery very comfortable and less this thing than this urban city here. The girls should stop eating just this is what they eat.
All right, doctor.
Okay, so I don't totally agree with you, but I would also not totally knock your point off. So diet and nutrition has a large role to play. Diet, nutrition, and lifestyle has a lot to play, even with our lifespan, our pregnancies and our deliveries. That's a given. Okay, so these days we're more sedentary. Okay, those mothers then in the village are always going to the farm. With their 8 months, they are going to go and till, dig hole, with manual farming, not mechanical farming. Carrying children to the farm, carrying things on their head. So those were exercises, and very strenuous exercises at that. I won't advise for that. That's one. But if you remember, a lot of people were dying. Do you understand? So we had a lot of unrecorded deaths, children and women. And that's why men were always quick to marry second wives. You die, they'll carry another one. You die, you carry another one. Do you understand? Because they were not properly managed. So I would agree with you to some extent, but I can't agree with you fully, because and that's why we're having reduced maternal mortality rates now, because we're now getting external help. Then they were giving birth, like you said, in the room, and people were bleeding out. Do you understand?
And again, back to what you were saying about that generation being all about secrecy.
Yes, secrecy.
So they're not going to come and tell you.
Exactly.
They'll just say, "Oh, it was very easy."
They will tell you that it was easy. Meanwhile, their eye don't see. Don't go see Oba. Do you understand? We'll
take a break. When we come back from this break, Lagos, let's talk a bit more about what to expect when you are expecting. I am Sandra Ezekwesili. You're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. And of course, we're streaming live. WhatsApp 080-959-75805. We're streaming live on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3, YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. What should you expect when you are expecting? That's our conversation today. Dr. Chibuki Aigbe is our guest, and she is the practice manager at One Wellness Health Center. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. Don't go away.
Stay one step ahead with the latest news and trending conversations here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Don't tell people you've added weight. Why are you losing weight?
At Top Faith University, students are trained for various professions
of their daily iron needs to help them learn to their full potential and fulfill their dreams.
A musician, an architect.
Cerilac Jr. with Iron Plus. It's all good, Mom.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the biggest jollof festival ever. Let's welcome the Smoky Jollof Lovers, the Suya Jollof Lovers, and the Seafood Jollof Lovers.
Whatever kind of jollof you love, come rep it at the North Jollof Fest. Date is July 23rd, 2023 at Murio Kola Park. Time is 12 p.m. Attendance is free. Visit NordJolloffFest.com to register.
North Jollof Festival.
Where's your paradise? London, Doha, Singapore, Miami, Zanzibar? This summer, Wakanao has got you covered. Lock down unbeatable travel deals with only 10% down payment and pay small in convenient installments. Book now on wakanao.com. Download the Wakanao app for even cheaper deals or walk into any of our travel centers near you. Take a break. Escape to paradise. Wakanao. Let's go.
Lagos, up to 90,000 naira can be won every day with One Play Loto. With just 200 naira, you get the chance to play and win every day. Simply dial *347 *880 *3#. Specify the number of your tickets or entries from 1 to 10. Choose 1 to continue. You will receive an SMS on instructions to make payments. The draws for participants will be live on Nigeria Info, and you get this chance to win up to 90,000 naira. Tune in to WhatsApp Lagos 11:15 a.m. to 11:25 a.m. or Game On at 8:15 to 8:25 p.m. or the chat station by 10:15 p.m. to 10:25 p.m. Remember, you can play as many times as you like. The more you play, the more your chances of winning. Don't forget, simply dial *347 *880 *3# and play with just 200 naira. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18. And remember to please play responsibly. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to the Dettol Shield Show. So, your question is, list multiple uses of Dettol antiseptic liquid. Your time starts now.
We use Dettol for bathing.
Correct. During and after shaving. Great.
To clean my cuts and wounds.
Yes.
We also use Dettol for cleaning surfaces like the floor and kitchen tiles.
Yes, correct.
We also use Dettol for laundry.
Okay, Mrs.
Cleaning door
Phillips,
handles
can someone please turn off Mrs. Phillips?
Dettol antiseptic liquid protects you and your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
Hello? Hello? Can anyone hear me? I'm in Biggie's world, where it seems like multiple stars are aligned for the ultimate showdown. I have to go. I have to go. Biggie's calling.
It's the return of your faves in the first ever Big Brother Ninja All-Stars. Get ready for Edge of Your Seats drama starting Sunday the 23rd of July at 7 p.m. on Africa Magic Channels. Get and stay connected.
Big Brother Naija All-Stars. Headline sponsor, MoneyPoint. Powering your dreams.
Before, their problem is say our shoulder too high. They say make we lower our chest. Now, they wonder why we know they ever lack airtime, credit and data on top our glow line. Whether cash day or cash not day.
You dey mind their Procon people for this market?
We know they call ourselves digital generation for nothing. Abi to get airtime, credit and data, take sell plenty market every day, non-stop. Now your mates,
Whether cash dey our handle or you know deal, we could just dey buy data and airtime credit directly from our bank account with the Glow e-top up.
That is to say, no cash, no wahala.
Yes, so cashless recharge on the go, anytime, anywhere, no stress, no shake me, no wahala.
Buy data and airtime directly from your bank account with Glow e-top up. It is easy, quick, and available on your mobile apps, ATMs, websites, leading retailers, and Glow World shops. Or download the Glow Cafe app to top up or dial *777#.
My kids love tasty snacks, but many snacks are not so good for them. That's why I love the new Milo Anna snacks.
We love it, Mom.
Yes, it's a delicious snack with the goodness of malt, milk, cocoa, and crunchy Niger-grown maize containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
So, pack Milo and snacks in their lunchbox every day to help your kids refuel at break time and keep winning all day. Milo, energy to go further.
Let's talk.
Hey Lagos, been a minute. How are you doing? Let me rephrase that. How is your account doing? Well, if your answer is no, like some people, well, I have good information for you that can help out with that. Because oneplay.ng is saying that you can now win up to 90,000 naira here on Nigeria Info every single day. Yes, all you have to do is dial *347 *880 #3 with only 200 naira. Just 200 naira now. So why are you wasting time? Why are you darling? Dial *347 *880 #3 with just 200 naira and follow the prompts. I'm sure most of you don't know what the prompt is, but I've been mentioning that for a long time now. So after dialing the code, you specify your number of entries, make sure that you choose your bank, choose one to continue, and then you receive an SMS with instructions to make payments. Once you've done that and you've completed your transaction, make sure that you just chill and calm down and make sure that you listen to the live draw. Yes, you have to listen in because you can be called, and if you don't pick up your call, that's your village people, dear, not me. So listening to the live draw on WhatsApp Lagos from 11:15 a.m. to 11:25. From 8 on Game On is 8:15 p.m. to 8:25. On Chat Station is 10:15 p.m. to 10:25 every weekday. Remember that if the system picks your number, my dear, you have won the cash prize of the day. So why are you wasting time? Dial *347 *880 #3 with just 200 naira and do not sleep on this. Make sure that you follow the prompt. Remember that you can play as many times as you like. But don't forget that this is not for people under the age of 18 and terms and conditions apply. So play responsibly.
This is the glass ceiling on Hard Facts.
On the glass ceiling, we talk about solutions. We put a spotlight on solutions to the obstacles and challenges that women face every day. Those challenges are not just political, they're not just economic, they're not just social, they can be medical. And like I said when we started the show, something as commonplace as pregnancy, right? It can bring up a lot of risks, medical risks for women. We talked last week about preeclampsia and eclampsia, and today we've covered quite a lot of ground. We started at maternal mortality and why it's still high in Nigeria. Our guest, who is a practice manager at One Wellness Center, Dr. Chibuka Igbe, says that Nigeria is not as high as it used to be, but it's still high. And then she gave us a number of reasons for why it can get that high. Now, of course, Dr. Chibuki, it sounds to me like where it all starts is antenatal care. It's available for free or for very cheap at many hospitals, but many women don't take advantage, or sometimes they're not allowed to take advantage. What happens at antenatal? Why is it so important?
So, antenatal is when, let me first give us an idea of what antenatal is, because I see a lot of people who say, oh, antenatal, I'll register when I'm 8 months. Nah. Antenatal is when you go to your doctor and your doctor, is on your journey, or your midwife, depending on where you're going to, is on your pregnancy journey with you. And we see that once you're a grand multi-para, so that if you've gotten pregnant many times, you get lax with it. So you have people who, first and foremost, there's a problem both ways. People who are primary gravid, like they're just, that's the first time they're getting pregnant, so they don't know. There's a knowledge gap. They don't know when to register for antenatal.
Okay.
They don't know that they need antenatal. They don't even see the reason why they should go for antenatal.
Okay.
Then you have those who've had 4 children and above, like, me done. It's antenatal that should be doing me. And they don't know that the more kids you have, the more chances of you even having complications, because you need your doctor to be with you to say, okay, you're good to go. That's why people tell you, oh, your doctor said you can only have one more child, because they've looked at your body and said, okay, this uterus cannot take any more stretch. This
and each pregnancy strains it.
Yes.
How did our parents do 10 and 11 and 12?
Going back to high maternal mortality rates. You can't take it away. So it was a lot higher then, but because we never had the Byram paper, couldn't put it in black and white. We still don't have the black and paper. We still document very poorly.
Right.
But it was quite high.
Right.
For the few studies that were carried out 20 years ago
Mm-hmm.
or 50 years ago as well, if you might see that. But antenatal, so what happens in antenatal? Like I'd mentioned, we want you to register. It's advised that you first visit the hospital as soon as you miss your period. That
Mhm.
is, you have a missed period. You should go
Mhm.
to the hospital to clinically confirm your pregnancy, either via a blood test
Mhm.
or an ultrasound scan.
Hmm.
Now, what this early confirmation helps do is to make sure to help date your pregnancy, because a lot of people don't know when they lost their periods.
Mhm.
But if you do a scan there, you're able to say, okay, this is your gestational age and this is your estimated date of delivery.
Hmm.
And the earlier you do that scan, that first trimester scan,
Mhm.
the more accurate your EDD is.
Hmm.
Now you register. So once you have you've dated your pregnancy, you've confirmed your pregnancy, the next thing is antenatal. So we advise that you do your antenatal from the 12th week, because we see that very commonly early trimester abortions do happen, and then that removes the shaft from the wheat.
Okay.
That's the idiom, yeah?
Yes.
Shaft from the wheat.
Yes.
So I mean, if you've scaled through the first trimester, then you pretty much might get to the end of the pregnancy, the
Mhm.
40th week. So
Tell me again, we've talked about this before, but tell me again, how common are miscarriages? How common is it to miscarry?
oh, it's actually very common. I think about 40% of pregnancies. So most times those people who say, oh, my period is late,
Mm-hmm.
and they have this. So most times it's usually not late period. It's actually miscarriage.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm.
So that being said, you do your advice to have your antenatal from your 13th week, so after your 12th week.
Mm-hmm.
Now what that does is that it reconfirms that your pregnancy is growing as it should grow,
Okay.
and preempt any abnormalities that can happen. It
Mm.
also helps to raise or beef up your blood storage, because a lot of people were working anemics and they don't know.
Hmm.
And then because the growing a fetus is a heavy physiological state,
Hmm.
you would need extra of all those vitamins to be able to maintain good and healthy blood levels of you and your baby.
Hmm.
So you need some additional dietary support via multivitamins.
Mhm.
You would also need some medications will be given to you to help prevent the neural tube defect I had mentioned last
Mhm,
week.
mhm.
Things like spinal bifida, things like big head. What's the medical term for the big head again? Hey, Jesus. Water in the head.
Mhm.
Okay. Where your head is big and there's water in the head.
Mhm.
That happens. You have a tail. So some people, if you look, we don't have tails.
Mhm.
So if you have a neural bed defect, sometimes you can have a tail. Sometimes you can have your back does not completely close. You
Close.
have the spinal cord and spinal column being exposed. Okay,
Right.
and those are serious complications.
Mhm.
So those medications help to prevent that.
Mhm.
And then it helps to make sure that your cervix is closed,
Mhm.
because we talked about cervical incompetencies the last time.
Yeah.
Because at a certain age, the weight of the amniotic fluid, the weight of the baby, and all of that can make the cervix give way, and so it helps to track that when you go for antenatal.
Right.
It helps like when you do an analysis where they check for protein for preeclampsia, you can check for sugar, which could be a pointer to diabetes. You also check for pot cells, which can be an indication for infection. Okay, and even blood that can say, okay, you're bleeding somewhere, because you might be bleeding minutely that you're not seeing it, but if you pee, because it goes through the same area, you might pick blood, and I say, oh, there's a problem here. So urinalysis, that is done every time you go to the hospital. And I think I'm not too sure now, but between your 13th week to 26th or 28th week, you're going once a month. After that, you go twice a month, and after 36 weeks, you go every week. So it's staged and it's staggered. And each time the doctor is checking for different things. Is the baby growing as it should grow? Is it growing faster than it should grow? Is it going slower than it should grow? All these things are indicative of some pathologies.
Something.
Okay, so you can't take it for granted and say, okay, I'm feeling my baby move, so everything is fine.
It's fine. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Lagos is calling. Let's take a look at what Lagos is saying. But first, messages on WhatsApp. Vic says, nothing when Nigeria info no go teach person. Me we be man don't sabi how to bomb pikin. Sandra, una too much. Vic, we're glad that we're teaching you something. We've got Daddy Clinton from Badare who says, Sandra, I like this conversation. This reminded me 14 years ago when I almost lost my wife and kid. Thanking God I never argued with the doctor when he told me my wife will go through CS. Thank God today my son will be 14 years old on the 29th of August. Aw, Daddy Clinton. Happy birthday in advance to your kid. Let's
Stories
see.
you like to hear.
Yes, I know. We've got this one here from Christy. Christy says, why are people not talking about ectopic pregnancy? Sandra, I went through it last year and you said my enemy almost died. I think that's a typo. I think maybe you meant to say maybe my baby almost died. My doctor told me that it's one of the most dangerous issues when it comes to pregnancy, and many people don't even know about it. It's almost 1 year now, and I've been trying to conceive again. How long can it take for me to get pregnant again? The wait is killing me. That's Christy with that message there, doctor.
Yes, so ectopic pregnancy. I think we've discussed ectopic pregnancy
Yes, we
on
have.
this show
Yes.
before.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens in ectopic? In fact, there's a story. So, a beautiful story. We thank God. He ended in praise. Ectopic pregnancy is a complication where the embryo does not attach into the walls of the uterus. It attaches anywhere else. Very commonly, where it mostly attaches to is the fallopian tubes. So it's the commonest form of ectopic pregnancies. But the ectopic pregnancy can be in the abdominal cavity, and then it's an extra abdominal pregnancy. So the baby is actually growing outside the uterus.
The uterus, yes.
So what happens is that when you have an ectopic pregnancy, there's damage to the fallopian tube, the affected fallopian tube, where the embryo attached. So whether it's ruptured or it's not ruptured, when it's ruptured, it's a serious clinical emergency. If it's not, the doctor still has to go there, and there's a damage to the fallopian tube to excise that fetus that implanted there.
What do you mean excise?
To cut it out, to remove the baby that was growing there, and he can't take it anywhere else.
Yeah.
So they're just going to remove, and then the fallopian tubes are very, very delicate.
Yeah.
Now, when there's a damage to that, when there's an ectopic pregnancy,
can the baby survive?
No.
Yes. Okay.
You have your chances of having a spontaneous pregnancy if you remember. I'm not spelling do, but you remember I'd said it many times that I hate to sound like a broken record, but these things we need to hear it over and over again so that we can understand. Getting pregnant spontaneously is a 50% thing.
It's quite hard.
It's hard to get pregnant.
It's quite hard.
So if you have an ectopic pregnancy, you are further halved that 50%, which makes 25%. So you have only 25% chance of conceiving spontaneously.
What do you mean by conceiving spontaneously?
That is a healthy man and a healthy woman. Now
normal mikwe.
Have mikwe, Yabi?
Yes, just normal mikwe, and then baby will enter.
And baby will enter.
That's spontaneous.
Yes, that's spontaneous. Okay, without any assisted medical or otherwise or style wise. Anyway, such a thing doesn't exist though. But that's not to chip that in. Oh my goodness. So that is spontaneous conception.
Okay.
So
once you have an ectopic pregnancy, it halves your chances of getting pregnant by normal stuff.
Yes.
To 25%.
Yes.
Without the ectopic pregnancy, it was 50%.
50%.
50%
exactly.
chance that each one will bring a
A baby, yes. Each time you have sexual exposure. Now, for her, I would there's no such thing as watchful waiting when it comes to pregnancies. Not because I manage one wellness center, but because we're ticking. Oh, let me not say time, but there's no time. So there's no watchful waiting. You want to actually see a gynecologist that would see you through that journey, that will assist you to increase that your 25% chance that you have
to 50.
Okay, so that's what I'll tell her. There's no point waiting. The wait should not kill her. It's a self. I hate to sound insensitive, but it's a self-inflicted torture. I don't know what
just
you're waiting for. Yes,
right.
So why don't
see
you
a
go
gynecologist
to and get
see
help.
the assistance you can get.
Exactly.
All right, let's come to the phone lines. 99.3. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you today?
I'm very well. What's your name, ma'am?
Yeah, I want to thank that woman that is speaking very much.
Okay.
My name is Tai. I'm calling from Badore.
Welcome, Tai from Badore.
Okay. And at the same time, please, I want to educate other people too. That man that called earlier on, that said whatever people are eating is the one that made them not to push on their own. Maybe the man will provide food for every pregnant woman for them to be eating so that they can deliver by themselves. They should stop passing wrong information to people. Yes, a little bit, but don't let it be that without if you have not delivered through spontaneous vaginal delivery, you can't deliver again. No, any child being born is either through CS or through SVD. So there is no how they will write it on the forehead of that child that, oh, you are born through CS, you are born through this, and because you are born through CS, you will not be a good child. You will not be prosper in life. Capital N-O. And for those people that do go to all those TBAs, they are part of the things that make this thing happen. Sandra, yesterday we still lost one patient.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Postpartum
PPH
bleeding.
After six babies.
Oh.
She was bleeding since 7 p.m. before they came down to the hospital. Why can't they rush do the at the end of the day? Paper white when she came. They can't make up. And you know what? The husband is even one of the medical people, one of the ACOS staff that supposed to. But they don't believe in the hospital, even though they are working in the hospital. They don't believe in the hospital. They will still go to whatever they want to go to. It is when they have done their deal and the thing has
spoiled.
Them one hand,
the engine has knocked. They'll not remember hospital.
Yes, and they come to hospital now. It will not be. You want to perform magic on. So
and
please,
now say you see
let everybody know that going through cesarean section, it's not a big deal. If God doesn't want any woman to go through cesarean section, He will not give the knowledge to doctors, to nurses, to the theater people, to anesthetists. He will not give them the knowledge to know about it. So please, that's my advice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling. We appreciate it. I should say I am a CS baby.
I am a CS baby as well. I was going to say that. To just encourage people.
And hey, look at me, president of Hard Facts. Look at her, doctor and manager of One Wellness Practice.
Yes.
Look, we're both CS babies. My husband
I was a
baby.
primate. I was a premature. I was born at and I weighed 1.7 kg. I was a premature. So these things, it's not bad. Lagos, bad. I've had 2 cesarean sections. Bad. My babies are here. I'm
just
here.
come out. As long as baby come out, that's the most important thing. I wish we had more time to keep talking, doctor.
Is it
But
time?
I know. I will drag you back next week. Next week, Wednesday. You can join virtually or back in the studio, but we'll keep having this conversation about pregnancy. But thank you so much, Dr. Chibuki Ayibe.
It was a pleasure.
Check her out on social media. What's your social media?
Dr. Chibuki, DrChibuki.
Okay, so check her out on social media, Dr. Chibuki. Her practice is One Wellness Center. She's the practice manager there. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much.
Lagos, let's talk about VAT. We'll talk about that between 5 and 6. I'll have a tax professional join me from 5 o'clock to have that conversation. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. This is Nigeria Info 99.3.
My kids love tasty snacks, but many snacks are not so good for them. That's why I love the new Milo Anna Snacks.
And I want to assume that you would run because I want to give the listeners context for the conversation.
In 2019, you were running mate to Atiku Abubakar. What did you learn then that you will not repeat this time?
Yes, when is the president coming out to address us?
There's a few things. One, I have a burden and a passion for young people.
The fact that you have elected a man does not mean then you begin to order him around. The president will do whatever is good for the country at any given time.
Mr. Adeshino, isn't the president responsible to the people?
What should the next president do to root out stakeholders who are complicit?
You fire those that need to be fired get fired.
It's looking like a brand new Chelsea, attacking with so much fluidity. And what can you say about that, Martin? I know you follow Chelsea quite closely.
I live close to the Chelsea training ground. That's what you mean by that. I'm not a